Hello, grade 12 learners. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Mr. Hlungwani. He is back again to give you the tips of how to write essay of history. Today I will be teaching you how to write history essay. I'm not giving you the essay, but I will be teaching you how to write history essay because I saw so many mistakes when we were in the marking center marking the books, the examinations of learners. So guys, okay, this is a way of writing the essay, right? This is a way of writing the essay. At first, before writing anything in your answer sheet, you must first go to the question paper and look at the topic of your essay. Obviously, you know it very well that you will find this in the topic because number one, on paper 2, you must always know that we will be talking about what the black consciousness, which is talking about Steve Biko and the Soweto uprising and everything. Then the second essay on paper 2, it will be talking about the road to democracy. It will be talking about what the road to democracy. Then paper 1, we will be talking about what Vietnam War, which is the extension of Cold War. Number 2, it will be talking about what the Black Power movement. So guys, let's say we are in the paper 1, we are writing your final examination. You must go to the last page where there will be the questions of the essay. At first, before you write your essay, you must read the question. Read the statement. The history essay always has what? The statement. You read that statement. You understand the statement and then go down to the question and answer the question or find out what does the question want. The question can come in this way. Use the relevant evidence to support the line of argument. If not that, it can say to what extent. You understand? So that's where you must make sure that you have the great starting of doing what? Writing your history essay. Let me just take some few question papers that I will show you here on my screen so that you can be able to answer your final examination when you are looking to what? Your question paper. I will start with paper 1. Look at the screen right now and then see. Okay, I'm holding paper 1, which is section B, essay questions. We will be focusing on question 4, the extension of Cold War, case study, Vietnam. The tactics and the strategies that the United States of America used between 1963 and 1975 against the Viet Cong during the war in Vietnam were a dismal failure. So far, what do you understand with this statement? Okay, it says the tactics and the strategies that United States of America used between 1963 and 1975 against the Viet Cong during the war in Vietnam were a dismal failure, which is here they are simply saying that the strategies and the tactics that the United States of America used in 1963 and 1975 until 1975 was a dismal failure. Where were they fighting? They were in what? Vietnam. They were in the Vietnam. So now you have a clue, okay, that USA used the strategies and the tactics to fight against what? Vietnam or Viet Cong. But did it succeed? On your own, how do you know did they succeed? Obvious, USA did not succeed. So if ever you will say, I do not agree with the statement that says the strategies and the tactics that USA used in 1963 till 1975 in the Vietnam was a dismal failure. You are wrong. If you don't agree, you must agree on this one. Okay, let us go to the question and hear what does the question want. Do you agree with the statement? Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. So whereby the question said, the statement said, the strategies and the tactics that United States of America used in 1963 to 1975 was a dismal failure to defeat what? The Viet Cong were in Vietnam. Then the question says, use the relevant evidence to support your line of argument. How do you take a stand? You must take a stand now, saying that I do agree that the strategies and tactics used by United States of America, you are quoting the statement the way it is. You are quoting what? The statement the way it is. I do agree with the statement that says the strategies and the tactics that United States of America used in 1963 till 1975 was a dismal failure in Vietnam. Because, you see, how do we take the stand? This is how you write your essay. Because Viet Cong managed to defeat USA. That's your stand. By writing that statement, you are not done. But you must also say, because the United States of America did not manage to defeat Vietnam. You understand? Or you can say, Vietnam managed to defeat the big country like USA. That's how you take a stand. From there, the teacher will be impressed when marking the paper. Will be impressed with, okay, this child, she's so too intelligent, or he's too intelligent. He has a potential, she has a potential. I do agree with the statement that says the strategies or the tactics that used by the United States of America was a dismal failure in 1963 till 1975. Because the Viet Cong managed to defeat the big country like USA. Then you start saying that in the Vietnam there was two groups. There was a North and the South. Vietnam was divided into two groups. There was a North and the South. At the South there was Diem. At the North there was Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Minh was popular. Ho Chi Minh wanted to unite both North and the South. That's how you write your essay. That's how you write your essay. That's how you write your essay. Then you write it, go to your body, write every story that you know, because I taught you essay on my videos. I taught you how to write an essay. So if you can go to my previous videos and watch them, you will know what to put in your introduction, body, and conclusion. How do you write the conclusion? Conclusion, it's a way of showing that, yes, you are giving the evidence that Vietnam managed to defeat the United States of America. United States of America was defeated. Done. Done. There's nothing more than that. Let me also take another question. Let me also take another question. Question 4. The extension of Cold War, case study Vietnam. The United States of America lost the war in Vietnam due to unconventional strategies of guerrilla warfare and environmental factors on the battlefield. Do you agree with the statement? Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. Guys, this thing is so simple. In this one, they are also bringing what we have learned. Still remember that the question on the last question that I read, it said the United States of America, the strategies and the tactics that United States used in the war was a dismal failure, right? Then this one, it says the United States of America lost the war in Vietnam. It's also saying that they were fighting where? In Vietnam. This is telling us that was the advantage of what? Viet Congs. Because they were fighting where? In their battle. I mean, in their battlefield. That's their place. That's their territory. They are familiar with the territory, which is USA, come along the way from United States of America and went to Vietnam to fight against Viet Cong. But they did not win. Even the question is telling us, because I'm sure you also have the power if someone will come to your home and want to beat you. You will make sure that you are winning that war. You will have all the power of fighting that person. There's no one who can come to your property and fight you. You'll have more power. You have more authority. How so? You have more authority because you are familiar with the field. You know that place. That's where you live. Don't forget that they were fighting in the forest. They were fighting in the forest. So, United States of America did not win against Vietnam. So, but the question, it's possible saying that the small country like Vietnam managed to defeat the United States of America. Do you agree? Yes, I do agree that the small country like Vietnam managed to defeat the United States of America. That's how you take the stand. That's how you start writing your essay. You see, if you can fix that 3 lines, the top 3 lines, you are fine. Because the question here says, the United States of America lost the war in Vietnam 1962 to 1975 due to unconventional strategies of guerrilla warfare and environmental factors on the battlefield. Environmental factors. What are they simply saying? Vietnam, it was their battlefield. They know their side country. They know their place. Then they say, do you agree with the statement? Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. When you start writing your essay, you will say, yes, I do agree with the statement that says the United States of America lost the war in Vietnam in 1962 to 1975 due to unconventional strategies and guerrilla warfare on environmental factors on the battlefield. This is done. There is nothing hard that they will ask you. This is question 1. We were dealing with question 1. We were only dealing with what? Question 1. I'm coming to question 2. Then we covered only one essay right now. On question 1, on paper 1, we covered what? Only question 4. We covered only question 4. Now we are going to what? Question 6. Under what? Question 1. Paper 1. Look at the screen and see. It says, question 6, civil society protest from the 1950s to the 1970s. The Black Power movement. Then the statement says, explain to what extent various role players were successful in using the Black Power philosophy to end discrimination against African Americans in the United States of America in the 1960s. This one, it simply says, to what extent? Obvious, because of there is something that happened, and to what extent the various role players were successful in using what? The Black Power philosophy to end discrimination against the against African Americans. They wanted to end what? The discrimination against who? African Americans in the United States of America in the 1960s, which is here. They were in America. We are talking about what? Black Americans. There was the play roller, which is, it can be Stokely Carmichael. He was one of the play role of a Black Power movement. There was also Stokely Carmichael. They were men. So here, you will simply say, to a greater extent, various role players were successful in using the Black Power philosophy to end discrimination against African Americans in the United States of America in the 1960s. You do what? You say, to a greater extent, that various role players were successful. That's how you start your essay. They were successful in ending the discrimination in the United States of America. So that's how you write your essay. To a greater extent, various role players were successful in using the Black Power philosophy to end discrimination against African Americans in the United States of America in 1960s. Because, don't forget that because discrimination ended in the United States of America. Or you will say, because the Black Power movement was a philosophy rather than the political organization. Black Power movement became in power in 1950s and early 1960s. Black Power movement managed to instill or install the Black pride, managed to make Black people to be self-reliant. In that way, you are writing your essay. In that way, you are doing what? Writing your essay. This thing is very easy. It just needs you to go and apply it. Let me also read another question paper. On paper 1, question 6, it says, the civil society protest from the 1950s to the 1970s. The Black Power movement. Explain to what extent the philosophy of Black Power empowered or inspired African Americans to be assertive and do things for themselves, be self-reliant during the 1960s. Use relevant evidence to support your line of argument. This is the same thing. To what extent? To a greater extent, the philosophy of Black Power empowered or inspired African Americans to be assertive and do things for themselves, be self-reliant during the 1960s, because Black Power movement was a philosophy rather than the political organization. Black Power movement became in power in 1960s and early 1970s. Black Power movement had 3 political goals. Number 1, separate social institution. Number 2, self-sufficient economy. Number 3, fight against apartheid or defense against apartheid. In that way, you are writing your essay. You are writing your essay. There is nothing hard. Then, now we are going on paper 2, essays. There are 2 essays in paper 2, which is Black Consciousness and Coming of Democracy in South Africa. I hope now you understand paper 1 essays. Now I will be dealing with what paper 2 essays in history. Okay, let me just show it on my screen. History paper 2, section B. History questions. Answer at least one of, let me just leave that one. Question 4. It says civil resistance, 1970s to 1980s, South Africa. The philosophy of black consciousness successfully instilled blacks with pride and self-belief to start challenging apartheid South Africa in the 1970s. Do you agree with this statement? Support your line of argument with relevant historical evidence. I do agree with the statement that says the philosophy of black consciousness successfully instilled blacks with pride and self-belief to start challenging what? Apartheid South Africa in the 1970s. Yes, because South Africans managed to do what? To fight against the apartheid government. This thing is very easy, guys. There is nothing hard. There is nothing hard. There is nothing hard. You just have to be smart. You just have to be smart. Be smart. Everyone who's watching my videos, I know you are smart. No one can have the courage of watching my videos on YouTube if you are not smart. Believe in yourself. Tell yourself that you are going to make it. Make me proud. Make your parents proud. One day your parents must be proud of you. Make them cry of joy. I want you to pass your final examination. Let me tell you the importance of passing grade 12. It's very important. Make sure that you don't fail grade 12. Even if you can fail your grade 12, for those ones who did not make it, don't give up. You have five chances of writing grade 12. You have 5 chances of writing grade 12. So I want learners, whenever they go to grade 12, I want them to get distinctions, because it's hard to be admitted in the university level. It's hard to be like the requirements, they are high for you to get in the university level. So you must make sure that you are passing your final examination. Okay, let's go back. Question 4 of paper 2. It says, to what extent did Steve Biko and the black consciousness ideology contribute to the 1976 student protest in Soweto? Support your line of argument using relevant evidence. So here is also the same question. To what extent, to a greater extent, Steve Biko and the black consciousness ideology contribute to the 1976 student protest in the in Soweto? Because Steve Biko and black consciousness ideology, what is an ideology? Mind. Managed to make black people to stand for themselves. Because black people, they were believing that they are inferior, white people, they are superior. By the ideology of Bantu Steve Biko and the black consciousness, managed to bring the self-esteem in the black people. That's how it is. We are done with what? Black Power movement. We are done with what? Cold War, Vietnam War. We are done with what? Civil resistance, which is black consciousness. Now we are left with only one essay that we must deal with. We are left with the coming of democracy. Let me show it on my screen. The coming of democracy to South Africa and coming to terms with the past. The opposition parties and the National Party government in South Africa were eventually forced to resolve the political deadlock through negotiations in the 1990s, which led to the birth of new democratic South Africa in 1994. Critically discuss the statement in the context of the process of negotiations that took place in South Africa between 1990 and 1994. Even this one, it's very easy and simple. They are saying what? Critically discuss the statement. Here you will say the opposition parties and the National Party government in South Africa eventually forced, or you must just say, I do agree with the statement that says the opposition parties and the National Party government in South Africa were eventually forced to resolve the political deadlock through negotiations in the 1990s, which led to the birth of new democratic state in 1994. Because in 1994, black people got their freedom, got their right in South Africa. Then you start quoting the points that I gave you on my past videos where I was teaching the essay of Black consciousness. I hope, guys, we are done for today. I hope we are done for today. I hope no one have a problem when it comes to history essays. If ever there is anyone who did not understand anything, feel free to comment on my comment section. Then I will attend to your question. Then if I feel like I have to do a video on teaching you what you have requested, it's also fine. Feel free to ask anything. If there is a topic that you don't understand at school, write on the comment section that say, I want you to teach me this and that, or do a video teaching about, There are so many requests that people have requested. I'm still gonna do their videos. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.